Welcome back to Tipping Point. I'm your host, Kara McKinney. A sheriff's deputy whose life was in imminent danger is being painted as the villain for giving his attacker ample time to stop his deadly assault. That is the real takeaway from a garbage headline like this coming from The Guardian. It reads, California officer shoots and kills boy, 15, holding gardening tool. Accompanying that headline is a sweet picture of the assailant. The image they want the public to draw from this is that a black kid was out gardening or something and some racist evil cop with a jumpy trigger finger shot him in a horrible mistake as the kid, the boy even as the headline stresses, sat there helplessly in his garden with his flowers and a hand shovel in his hand or something. When in actuality, here's what happened from 2 different body cameras worn by officers.
Where's he at? Hey, get back! Get back, you're getting shot!
The incident took place on Saturday in Apple Valley when the teenager, who was said to be autistic, began assaulting his own family members inside the home with various objects, even including glass shards at one point. The situation got so out of hand that officers obviously had to be called, which meant that the family felt that their lives were in danger, despite what's being said now in the media that the teen was not actively a threat to anyone. As you can see on the body camera, once the officers arrive, the teen rushes out of the house with a gigantic 5-foot-long bladed scythe-looking weapon, which is being called blandly a gardening tool, and attacked the officer with it. The officer gave him ample opportunity to stop. He yelled at the suspect to put down the weapon or he would get shot. The officer even did what you're not really supposed to do, just to give the teen more time to come to his senses and stop, which is that the officer began backing up and then running backward away from the suspect. Do you know how easy it would have been for the cop to trip while doing that? And in close quarters like that, the suspect with the long-bladed weapon does have the edge over the cop who'd be prone on the ground as he tumbled, regardless of whether or not he has a gun. I'm not sure, since the investigation is still active, whether the cop running backward fired the fatal shot or if it was the cop protecting his partner from across the yard, as we saw in the video for a split second at the end from the other body cam. Either way, it's a fully justified yet tragic shooting. And the department needs to back up these officers 100%, or else the memo will keep going out that cops are not allowed to protect themselves until they've actually been shot, or in this case, taking a scythe-like blade to the head. And even then, Ben Crump or Al Sharpton would be there in 2 seconds to lecture the cops on why they still didn't have the right to use lethal force. Cops are in a lose-lose scenario. If a family like this has had 15 years to get their son under control and can't, what makes them think that an officer can do so within seconds? We also just have to come to terms with the fact that there are a lot of evil people out there in the activist community who really think that the only good cop is a dead cop. And so it's not worth arguing with those leftist types or trying to appease them, because they'll never admit that a cop ever had a justified reason for acting as they did. And so those voices should just be drowned out and ignored. Simple as that. Joining us now to discuss is military defense attorney Davis Younts. Davis, thanks for being here tonight.
Good evening.
So what do you make of how this case is being sold to the public? If you Google it right now, all you see is headline after headline stressing and emphasizing the fact that this is a young man, autistic, and the big one here, they keep saying he just had a gardening tool. What's the big deal with a gardening tool?
Listen, obviously this is a horrifically tragic situation, but the problem is what the press is doing, what the media is doing in this situation is just irresponsible and dangerous. There is an ongoing narrative in the public and among the public that somehow police officers are dangerous and the enemy, and that's simply not true. These police officers, some of them I've represented as clients, go to work every day hoping they never have to pull a weapon, never have to use their weapons. They're not looking for these situations. They don't want to be in these situations, and unfortunately, this is casting someone in a bad light, and it's sad that what happened here is the journalists essentially made all of these assumptions. Some of the early articles were written without seeing the body cam footage, and they're basically saying, "Oh, wait until we see the body and audio footage, body cam and audio footage here," and then we get it, and we see a very, very different story that's being told. Unfortunately, so many in the public will not ever watch this,